Well, hello, everybody. This is Susan for SLC Aquatics coming to you this Thursday. It's been kind of cloudy here, so I hope the sun's shining where you're at. But we're excited today because we have a very special guest that will be joining us in a few seconds. And I'm hoping that you all will click the like and don't forget to share this out so that others can come in and meet Ed and get to learn about him. So at this time, I'd like to bring Ed up onto the platform.
Hi, everyone.
Hello, Ed. Welcome to the live stream. Hope you're doing well today.
Thanks for having me. Yes, doing great.
Yeah, we're both running, aren't we?
Yes. Real busy, especially when computers go down at work and you're getting ready to leave.
Well, I want everybody to know that Ed is of Ed's Picknupcichlids. This man has a lifetime of experience and fish hobby keeping, club president, managers, treasurers. I don't know what parts you've been, but I'm going to let him come and explain and introduce himself to us and tell us about his hobby and what his plans are for the near future. Go ahead, Ed.
Okay. Well, I've been keeping tropical fish since I was 11, so I'm 65 now. And I've always, since the early 80s, I've been with a lot of the fish clubs in the area. I travel hour and 15 minutes mostly just to go to a club event or anything. Anything that has to do with fish. It's like Susan said the one time, I sleep, eat, and keep fish. That's all I do. And now for the last 2 years, I've been working at a store called Pets Plus in Lawrenceville, New Jersey. And just recently, in the last 4 months, I took over the fish room. So I get to order everything and see how the business runs on that end rather than just cleaning tanks and selling fish. So it's pretty enjoyable. I've also, I guess around 1995, I worked for a wholesaler too for a couple of years while I went back to school.
What's that experience like?
It's different, way different. When you're handling, we'd get fish in for the whole week and, they go into like 20 or 30 gallon tanks and they'd have hundreds in each tank. And it was just always constantly moving fish in and out fast.
Kind of like bulk orders coming in and bulk orders going out.
And we handled most of the Walmarts when they had fish on the East Coast. So it's like our drivers would be in to pick up fish and go out and handle all over the place. And that was a good experience, but I think I like the retail end better. I've always wanted to own my own store, and I never got that chance because I was a paid firefighter for 20 years and then I get into computers next, always busy. And then I retired for 2 years. And that's when I got into my buddy, Mark De Niro, said, "You want a job? One of the guys that works here is gone." And I said, "I don't know." But then right away at that time, my wife lost her job. So I took it and asked for 25 hours a week, and I've never worked under 40. So it's been busy.
That's awesome.
And,
so
also,
you go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was going to ask about the type of procedures that you all do in your fish room, as far as, do you keep any salt in your freshwater tanks? Do you have salt and freshwater, etc.?
No, they did away with salt water about 2 years before I started here. So it's all just fresh. Everything's fresh water. And we have sumps that run the whole rows. Each row has its own sump on it, which I'm not too cool about, because all my stuff at home, my 80 tanks, have 90% of them have sponge filters, box filters, and I have a linear air pump that runs the whole system.
Yeah.
So I like that better. You don't get the diseases spread all over the place like at work. One tank, one group, you throw one group of fish in. And we just had that recently, have ick, and half of the rows has ick, you know?
Yeah.
And then you got to treat it. So, and I just block out the whole row and not for sale. I'm not spreading it out to anybody's fish tanks.
Do you treat the sump or each individual tank?
No, we treat the sump because they're all connected. We have like 20, 25 tanks in a row, depending upon the row. And so I just treat the whole tanks.
Yeah, Degenerate didn't hear where you were from. Could you repeat where you're from at?
I'm from Langhorne, Pennsylvania. And my work is 15 minutes over the bridge in New Jersey. In Lawrenceville is where I work. I've also been collecting tropical fish in Peru.
Yeah.
I spent a week on the Amazon, and it was the best time of my life.
And if you all would like to read his story in the past newsletters of the #FishFam community newsletter, there were 2 articles. There was a part 1 and a part 2. And at this time, I don't remember what months. It might have been September 2 years ago.
Yeah, it was a while ago.
And then the next one would have been the special, the November-December issue. So if you don't know how to do that, I'll plug myself briefly. You can go to slc-aquatics.org/blog, sign up for the newsletter, or you can actually go to the website and sign up as a member of the website. It's free, and there's no fees or anything. We also have a forum that's not very active because many people don't know about it. But if as a member, you can go to the members page after you log in, and you can see all of the back issues of the newsletter, and also under the blog section of my website, you can see all of the articles that's ever been published in our newsletters. So I'm sharing your channel on the screen right now, and if any of my mods could get, I don't know what that is. Okay. If any of my mods could get Ed's website, YouTube channel, and share it. I believe Multiple Aquariums has been sharing it. And if anybody has questions for Ed, you can also email him at picknupcichlids@gmail.com. So a little bit more about Ed. So go ahead, Ed. How many years did you say now?
How many years?
Didn't you say 50 years?
Yeah, 50 plus, yeah.
Yeah.
A long time.
And what did you start with?
Pair of convicts. Cichlids, and they started breeding. And just got me hooked with the way they move the fry around from pit to pit until they start free swimming, and how they protect them and all that. It was just amazing the first time seeing that. And now I have a lot of tanks breeding. And I got into a lot of stuff. I breed pencil fish. I bred zebra danios, gouramis, bettas. Can't even think. Placos, a lot of different placos. And,
so is there a conditioning for egg layers?
Just a lot of feeding meaty foods for especially the cichlids, and but the danios and stuff, I just put a lot of plants in the tank, or I'll use a 10-gallon tank with an under gravel filter with the slits in it, and I cut them a little bit wider so the eggs can fall through to the bottom and they can't get to them. And next day I'll just remove I'll put like 10 in there, like about 6 females and 4 males. And then I'll just remove them the next day. And a couple days later, I'll have hundreds all over, stuck to the glass everywhere.
There was a question in chat. They wanted to make sure, do you work at a pet store or do you own it?
No, I work at it.
And how long have you worked at that fish store?
2 years almost.
Is it a fish store or a pet store?
No, it's a pet store. We have everything from dog food to cat food to reptiles, birds, everything.
Are you at liberty to tell the name of the store?
Yeah, it's Pets Plus Natural in Lawrenceville, New Jersey.
Pets Plus Natural.
Yeah.
In Lawrenceville, New Jersey. Okay. I hope that answered your questions. Let's see. Brianne's in here. Hey, Brianne, how are you doing? Welcome to the live stream. We've got Robert at TN Aqua. We have Diego at Multiple Aquariums. We have Skull Aquatics. We also have Degenerate Fish Keeper. We have the Zen Ginger also. And earlier, the Mystery Snail Guardians logged in. I don't think she's with us right now. If she is, she can throw a hand up or something to let me know she's still here. Pets Plus Natural is a franchise, correct?
Yes, we have like 7 stores from PA to New Jersey. There's 2 in New Jersey and 5 in PA. Okay,
great. Anybody else have any other questions for Ed? Like his name says, he's a cichlid man, even though he does other live bearers and other types of fish and bottom dwellers and stuff. So if y'all have any questions for Ed, there's lots of experience right here sitting on the screen. So you need to take advantage of that situation right now and start asking these questions. I know you've had Oscars. How many Oscars can actually live together like in, 225?
In a 225 gallon?
Yeah.
Well, I had 4 of them they were 13 inches in a 265 gallon.
265. You had 4? Yeah.
And they got along. They didn't beat each other up or anything.
Were they raised pretty much together?
Yes. Yeah, so that helps too. But I have even added 2 of them to another tank that had 2 big ones in there, and they got along.
We have a question from Brianne. Brianne says she may have missed it. How do you breed your Danios? She just brought hers inside and wants to try to breed them.
Well, like I said, I put them in a 10-gallon tank, and I put an under gravel filter. Not the tubes or anything, just the filter itself, and laid it on the bottom of the tank. And some of the grids wasn't wide enough to fit eggs through, so I would just shave them with a razor blade and make them a little wider, and lower the water down to about 4 inches.
Because they're going to jump, aren't they?
I feed them heavily every once in a while. I mean, for a couple days.
Yeah.
And then once you see the females getting fatter, that's when I lower. I'm sorry, I kept it high until I saw the females getting fat, and then I lowered the water. And that's when the next day I just decided to take them out, and there was eggs everywhere when I lifted up the under gravel filter. And then a couple days later they hatched, and I never seen so many tiny babies stuck to the glass everywhere.
Wow. Degenerate Fish Keeper wants to know, what is your personal preference, Ed, American or African?
Well, I was in the American cichlids for a long time, including when I went collecting in 2005. But now I've sort of changed to, I like Tanganyikan shell dwellers a lot, all the small ones. And I'm really into that. Them and the Juliachromis species too. Because they only get to be 5 inches, maybe 6.
Brianne, I'm not quite sure what you're asking, but she says, would you work with a 5.5 or is that too small? I guess that's the size of the aquarium.
Yes, I would just put maybe 2 pairs or in there. I wouldn't go as many as like 8 or 10 fish like I usually do in the 10. I would just cut it down. That's all.
Okay. Daniel Keeping Fish is from UK.
Okay.
So does your fish store ship fish or does it walk in?
No, it's just walk-ins.
Okay. Down the wormhole is Dee, and she's in Canada. Hi, Dee. Anybody else have any questions for Ed? Ed's telling us his life experience with keeping fish. He works in a fish store, but he has several aquariums at his house. And so, Ed, what do you got there at the house?
I have a lot of different stuff. Right now I'm trying to get my gobies. I got in some rainbow gobies that I'm trying to breed.
Rainbow gobies.
Rainbow gobies, yeah, they're so cool the way they hop along the bottom of the tank. Or it'll
Didn't you recently put a video up?
I think so. I think I did, yes.
You did.
And they like to stick to the glass, to the sides of the glass. So right now I'm probably overcrowded in the tank, but I got to switch them out into 2 separate tanks because I have them in a 20 long. So.
Are they mid-water swimmers or bottom?
No, they're always on the bottom. They're on the bottom all the time. They might come up an inch or 2 off the bottom, but that's about it. Maybe to hang on the glass, but they're pretty cool. I never had gobies before, so.
What is your go-to food source for them?
Food source? They eat pellets, believe it or not, and they eat bloodworms. So. And they're all doing over a month now. So
Degenerate wants to know, are you going to the Keystone Clash?
No, I actually have to work that weekend.
Didn't you just get through going to the Delaware Society?
Yeah, we had our meeting the other night, our first in-person meeting. And,
and your guest speaker was none other than
Michael's Fish Room.
Michael's Fish Room.
Yeah.
And if y'all don't know Michael, go check it out on YouTube. You put those videos up on Facebook, didn't you?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah, he's good guy. He's different though.
He really is.
Yeah.
He's been keeping fish for a lot of years in that basement of his.
Yeah. A lot of small tanks. Although I'm getting into small tanks now with all these shrimp. I have 24 shrimp tanks now going too. So I enjoy them a lot too. Probably as much as cichlids. Never thought I'd say I like that. Just as much as cichlids, but they're I like the different types and colors, and And just to watch them when they hang off the frog bit in the tank, the roots, and the way they pull their babies off when they're hatching, and it's just pretty cool.
That is amazing.
I have one of these magnifiers here. It's a glass that sticks to the tank.
I like that.
See the babies when they hatch, you know?
Yeah. I think Susie Q got one from your store, didn't she? She's got one too.
Yes, probably. Yes. Yeah, she comes in a lot too.
Tianok was asking you, do you sell any of your shellies?
Some of my multis, which I have a lot of, I do. You can contact me. I ship. I've been shipping since like early 90s. So
Diego is sharing a Facebook page for the Pets Plus Natural. Is that?
Yes, that's us.
Okay. I wasn't going to put it up if it's not.
Yep.
RB, which is Ricky, Animals Rescue. Ed, what do you have in the tank behind there?
These are my painted fire red cherry shrimp.
All right. Of course, we can't see a close-up.
No, they're so tiny. Well, I got a lot of adults in there, but I'm too far away and I don't want to move my computer.
Listen here, Ed, this is a very good question. Daniel's asking, what happened in the hobby that put the biggest grin on your face?
Let's see. Probably the first time I went to a meeting and I sat in the back and these two guys sat beside me who I've done nothing but read about them in every magazine and book. And it was Dr. Wayne Leibel and Dr. Paul Lozelle. And
those that have been in the hobby for a while are serious. They know who those people are. And Ed sat right in the middle of them.
And they talked to me like I was one of them. It was amazing. Like I was smiling a mile, you know, big grin on my face because I was with them too. And since then, I've learned everything about cichlids from them too.
Oh, here's a good question. Skipper says, Ed, what fish would you love to keep that you can't keep?
Does that mean I can't keep it alive? Or
he didn't specify, did he? I think he's
talking about
fish legally keeping it, or maybe don't have the tank size to keep it.
Let's see. Probably tank size would be it. With like, I'd love to have an arowana, but even though I have a 265, I just think they get way too big. I'd like a bigger tank for them, you know.
Oh, he specified that you can't house.
That I can't have?
House, House.
Okay.
So like that, an arowana. Are you interested in the red-tailed sharks or anything like that?
No, not too much.
And there's
I'd love to have a red-tailed catfish. I mean, we pulled them up that were this big in our nets in Peru on the Amazon, and their heads were like this, and I'm like, oh, I'd love to have that in my tank in my 265, but they just get too big. I mean, even the piranhas were 12, 14 inches with teeth, and I'm in the water with them. So unless you're bleeding, you're not getting bit because they're running like every other fish away from you when you go in the water.
See you down the wormhole, D. Her husband has a tank of piranhas, and she's had them for years. Anybody else have any more questions? Let's hear a little bit more about Ed. You have plans in your fish room to do any changes there at the house?
Well, I just got in 2 65-gallon tanks at work, and I want to cut down some of my tanks because I'm too busy between work and here to keep them too many little tanks. So I'm going to get rid of 9 of my 20-gallon longs and build a rack to fit 265s and probably a 50 breeder or 50, some kind of 50-gallon tank on top.
Will you be selling them?
My 20s?
Mm-hmm.
Probably, but I'm not sure because, there's always that I want to build a fish room out back. I have plenty of space in my yard, and I've already drawn up plans for a 16 by 24 fish room. So
all right.
I'm probably going to need them for that.
All right. That's awesome. Daniel, Keeping Fish has another good question. What is the piece of advice that you'd give yourself when starting the hobby?
Well, I tell them to take it slow. When you're setting up your tank, you got to have the biological stuff going correctly. You can't just throw fish in a tank and that's it and hope everything works well. And I recently just wrote up a 3-page thing on a 3-page letter that I hand out now when I see people come in the store on how to take care of a tank, how to start a tank, how long it takes for the biological system to get kicking and going right. And
we were just talking about that.
and also with just using chlorine out, because most of these people, they don't listen when you tell them that. That's why I make sure they don't go out of the store without a bottle of Prime or something like that, so their tank doesn't kill the fish. Because when I'm not there at night, there's really not anybody that knows fish too much. And I've had that problem where the people go out and they come back in, they're like, all my fish died that I bought yesterday. And the first thing I ask them is, did you put chlorine out in it? Nope. Nobody told me that. So I've been trying to educate the guys that I work with and the girls, on make sure you do this, you do this, you do this when you're selling fish to a new customer. Don't let them take fish home. I won't let anybody. I won't even sell them fish if they haven't had their tank up and running and cycling. So.
Yeah, when I first got started back into the hobby, Ed, I went to a box store. And my tank had been up for 3 days and running. And the salesman told me, oh, that's enough time. What kind of fish would you like to get today? Well, I brought home 3 pregnant female guppies. And, they usually do a stress drop anyway when you introduce them into some new water.
Yeah.
So I had some fry right away, but within 2 weeks, I was losing one after the other of the adults. Of course, the fry that are born in your current water usually are stronger than an adult that you're introducing to new water. Is that your experience as well?
Yes. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Well, thank you. That was a very good question there, Daniel. I want to say hi to Petroman1185. Welcome to the live stream and meet Ed of Picknupcichlids. You want to talk a little bit about how you got a trip to Peru?
Well, I sat through all those meetings with Chuck Davis and all these guys that go on collecting trips like Loisel and Libel, and it was like my dream to go. And one year, this one guy in the club in North Jersey said, hey, I'm putting a trip together. You want to go? And I'm like, you know what? I always dreamed of going by my 50th birthday. And this was like, I guess it was like a year and a half before that. He asked me, and I said, I don't know. Let me check into it and start saving some money. So not only saving the money, but I read up about margarita tours where we were going through. And I also bought a Nikon SLR digital camera to bring with me, and just all the equipment. And then you need all the shots. I mean, I had to get like $500 worth of shots just before I could go into their country for malaria and every other thing that they have down there. So,
oh Lord,
that's probably the hardest thing, was getting all that together, and then the passports and all that.
Yep.
And but that wasn't too bad. But after we collected the fish, they have a wholesaler in Iquitos that held our fish for a week and then shipped them to us.
Yeah.
Because I'm wondering, I collected 265 fish.
Wow.
And I probably collected like 300, but I got 265 fish back. So,
is it expensive having them shipped?
no, back then it was only for the 2 boxes I got that were loaded. I mean, it was only $60 a box.
That's not bad.
Pretty good. Nowadays it costs you that to ship a little box or more.
Petraman wants to let you know that he's in Toms River, New Jersey.
Nice. Stop up to the store.
I forgot where Diego put that. It's at 419. There it is.
And during the pandemic, when it first started, we our store was always open, and it was kind of weird I always sold my fish. I would meet somebody on the weekends. We'd go out to a parking lot somewhere and we'd trade fish, or we'd trade the fish and money, and
yep,
the things you had to do with the pandemic. It's crazy.
I still had some local fish keepers, bringing me sample food, sample grass, plants. They were buying fish off of me, and we did things properly with the face mask and social distancing.
Yeah.
And especially trunking it, you out in the open anyway. So
yeah,
that's pretty good. And I should have known that it wasn't going to stop Ed.
No, I've been to, I don't know how many swap meets outdoors, out of our trunk of our car,
Yeah.
setting up a table behind the trunk of your car. And you got to do what you got to do to get rid of your fish. Because, for a while there, we weren't moving nothing, and
yeah.
had to get rid of them somewhere.
Yep. Is there a policy at the store how long you keep fish, or they stay?
No, they stay till we get rid of them.
Yeah.
Or till I lower the price down to almost what we paid for them,
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like to keep things too long, like 3 weeks.
Yep.
So it's not worth it keeping the space and stuff. And now we have a road that's down because our pump went. So, and getting time to do that and getting help, because the store, we went from 14 people to 6. So it's kind of hard every day to get things done.
And you still have customers coming in and out.
Oh, yeah. And we are a busy store. We set records in the last couple of weeks for sales compared to last year's sales. People are spending money now. So it's a good thing.
Yep, it is.
It's my job going.
It's good for the economy.
Yes,
any more questions for Ed, guys? He works at a pet store, and he has 40 tanks of his own at home. He's up in the northeastern area of Pennsylvania, and he goes, haven't you, are you an officer in any of your societies or clubs right now?
Yes, I'm on the board of Delaware County Aquarium Society.
Okay.
I run the. I'm a speaker chairman. I get all the guest speakers for all of our monthly meetings.
That's awesome. And do you still get time to write, or you haven't been able to lately?
I haven't had time for a little bit not to write, because I write also. I'm probably the only one that writes for our magazine, our monthly newsletter. So it's hard to get people to write. I don't know. I've written so many articles. It's just comes off easy.
That's good. Tennessee Aqua says we need more people like Ed in the franchise fish stores. Somebody with education and knowledge, because a lot of the associates that people are training anymore don't have the information that they need to give
they don't. And they
knowledge.
don't know. I hear it all the time from people coming in saying, well, we went to PetSmart or we went to this store and they told us it's okay to put these two fish together. And I'm like, no way. You can't do that,
Well,
So
you'll
much
find
bad
out.
information.
Yeah.
Even on the internet, people.
That's
I
true.
have one guy that comes in the store that wants to read everything on the internet and then come in and I tell him, well, that's not right. Try this. And then he tries that and it works. So
yeah, research is good for the general public, but they need to look at the source of the information.
yes.
And a lot of times, if you're not paying attention to, oh, this was published back in 1995, well, I think you need something a little bit more current. I go back at the latest to 2017 on certain subjects in certain forums.
Right.
And some of that, if the resources are not, if you pay attention to the responses in the forums, you can find out who's given true information and who's not.
Yeah.
Again, Patty is asking where you're located.
I'm in Langhorne, Pennsylvania, which is about 10 minutes out of Philly. I situate between Philly and Trenton. So that's why I only work right around the corner from Trenton. It's takes me 15 minutes to get to work every day.
So that's New Jersey, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, it's right up Route 1. Yeah.
And you work with the Delaware Aquarium Society?
Yes. Delaware County Aquarium Society. Yeah.
Delaware County. Oh, county, not the state Delaware.
No, county. No.
Okay.
They're
that's
on the
where
other
I
side
was
of Philly.
Yeah, that's where I was
out there in the Philly. So
okay. So that's Delaware County, guys, in Pennsylvania. Anybody else got any questions? Daniel,
somebody asked about the Keystone Clash. I know that's coming up, and I'm sorry I can't make it this year. But I went to the first time 2 years ago, right before the pandemic, and they have a big raffle. I mean, they raffle everything off, from nice fish lights like I won back here. And I always take a lot of tickets because I figure the money's always going to the clubs. So I would get like $20 at a shot of all these tickets and just start putting them in all these boxes that they have.
Yeah.
Well, I had to go home to bag fish for the auction for the next day because it was like a 2-hour ride. And I missed the meeting that they had that night where they drew all the tickets. And I must have had 6 people calling me or texting me saying, hey, you won this one. I won one of the lights for Planet Tanks. Then I won another Planet Tank light. And then I won the big prize, which was a bagging station that this guy makes.
Oh,
and
wow.
That was like $300 or something they were telling me. I'm like, I won like the top 3 prizes.
Oh, wow.
So when I went back, I made sure I took my truck to make sure I could fit in the bagging station because it was pretty big. And since then, I put wheels on it so I can move it all around in my fish room now.
Well, Ed Petroman wants to know, what's the biggest tanks you carry in the store?
Well, we can get any kind of tank in, but right now we got an email that China won't send glass over to make our big tanks. So right now they're only saying 55s, although we just got in 290s and 375 gallon tanks. So that's probably the biggest we have right now. But we've had 125 gallon tanks. We've had 265s. We had the 180 bow fronts. But most of the time we can get in anything, any size.
All right. Rika Stan, have you met Rika Stan yet? He's going to be our traveling Santa.
Yeah.
He said, those darn Eds and their winning ways. You know he's talking about you and Chattanooga Ed.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all got the luck. The luck of the Irish, as they say.
They're probably glad I'm not showing up for the clash, so they can have somebody else.
Because I think they're going. I'm not sure.
I wish I could go. I might go up for the auction though, because it's only an hour away now. So I might go up for the auction on Sunday.
Daniel keeping fish. Sorry you're across the pond, but he says, sell me some of your painted fire reds. Meet me halfway with a bucket.
That's great.
Yep. This is fun. Is there anything, Ed, that you would like to tell or get started or see happen in the hobby that will keep it going in a healthy way, you know?
I would say just educating. That's the big thing. Educating people, and especially the younger folks. Like we get a lot of, 18, 20-year-olds in our store. And I'm surprised at how much they know, like this fish, they'll name this one and this one and this one. And we need to keep educating our younger people and just to get them going. I mean, it keeps the hobby revolving, all the younger people.
That sounds good. Education does help all of us stay on top of the hobby. Is it important to keep regular aquarium maintenance?
Yes.
To keep healthy fish.
Yes, that's the big thing. Water changes. I mean, for years, I never did water changes because I never lost fish. I never, the first, I guess, 5 years I was in the hobby, I never did it, Once I had my own house, I'm talking about, like in my 20s. And
back in the day we just topped it off unless it started smelling, and then
topped them off all the time, and I didn't really lose fish, so why would I worry?
I remember
more tanks you learn.
I remember trying to catch all of my guppies so that I could do a water change. I didn't realize you could do a water change and leave the fish in the tank.
Yeah. The stories that I hear in the fish stores, I mean, this lady comes in the other day and says, I don't know why my fish died. She goes, I removed all the water, all the plants. I rinsed all the rocks off, I'm like, what are you doing? You just killed everything. She dumped the filter and cleaned all that out and then put it back in. I'm like, that's why everything's dead. And then didn't use chlorine drops.
I had a niece like that, but her husband was helping rinse out the filter media, and I told her, don't let him do that.
Yes.
Daniel Velez is asking, the store, is it in the Fairless Hills store?
No, well, we're affiliated with them. Yes, they're actually, that store is only 5 minutes from my house.
Okay.
I live in Langhorne. Fairless Hills is the next town down. So
there you go, Daniel.
Takes me about 8 minutes to get there. So
Daniel Keeping Fish says should have aquariums in every classroom: biology, chemistry, mathematics, economics, and most of all, wonder.
Yep. I actually have a lot of teachers that come in and want to set up tanks, and I still educate the teachers. on what to do and how to set it up and how long it takes. You know,
That could be such a full-time, everyday type of I guess it's mostly a volunteer situation. Too bad you can't get paid for it, but
I know.
sometimes the best education is the free education, hoping someone will just duplicate you.
Yeah.
So we got 15 minutes. Anything else you wanted to share about your hobby? Well, I know that you have that YouTube channel, Ed's Picking Up Cichlids. He does want to start live streaming when his schedule permits. Is there a special day that you are favoring when you do get started?
I'm looking at Saturday evening, maybe.
Okay.
In case I get stuck working on a Saturday or working a little later. So I'm
Okay.
hoping for around 5 o'clock or so. Maybe on a Saturday, as long as I don't bump into anybody else that's already live streaming that time. So I'll have to research it a lot and see how it goes.
Yeah, we share the fish streams together. Have you ever kept any rope fish or any kind of freshwater eels?
No, I haven't. Close, and I mean, we get in eels all the time, and we get in rope fish. I've gotten in them, but it seems like the rope fish, I'll buy like 3 of them, and they'll go right out of the store within a week. Quick. People are really into them, but I've never had them. When I was in Peru, though, we were in a stream, and I hear one of the guys that live there that's with us on the tour. He starts yelling, "Get out of the stream! Get out of the stream!" I'm like, "Why?" You know? And we were only in the stream. It was about maybe 8 inches. The water was that deep. That was it. And I had just stepped up onto the bank, and right by me went, I'd say it was about a 6-foot electric eel.
Oh.
And of course, he goes over and grabs a big stick and picks it up out of the water and carries it over to the next stream away from us.
Wow. Thank you.
Yeah. Thanks for the warning. I mean, growing up, my brother had a foot-long electric catfish.
Oh.
He used to feed it by hand, goldfish. And he got zapped one time and knocked him right across the room.
Oh, jeez.
He stopped hand feeding it after that.
I bet.
Yes.
Oh, Lord. That's crazy. I'm trying to think. Did you say you had the frogs, the aquatic frogs?
We have them in work, yes, but I don't have any at home.
Okay. Do you keep any crustaceans in your aquariums?
No, just my shrimp. That's it.
Have you ever had the crayfish in your tanks?
No, I never got into the crayfish.
Okay. I see babies visiting you.
Yeah, I got a visitor. Come here.
Hey there, pretty girl.
This is my 125-pound Akita.
Look how big her
name's Fiona.
Look how big her head is, guys.
Here, look at the camera.
Hey, girl. She ain't studying me.
Yeah.
She's pretty.
She's so much better than the boys we've had. She talks a lot when
Really?
she's ready to go out or wants to eat.
How old is she?
She's 2 in April. She turned 2.
Have any other pets besides fish and her?
No, that's it. That's enough. I always wanted to get a bearded dragon or a chameleon.
Uh-huh.
And now that I have access to get them, who knows, I might end up with one or the other.
Oh, my goodness. Thank you so much.
Any fish, you know.
Thank you so much, King and Queen Cichlids, for the $5 super chat. Hello to Susan and Ed. I had Ed open up one of my videos at that fish place. Susan, keep up the newsletter. Thank you so much, Scott.
Yes, hi, Scott. Yeah, we happened to be there the same day. Scott and his wife were videotaping it, so they
That's
invited us
awesome.
into the video. It was great.
Thank
Very
you
good
so much.
couple.
Yeah, he's starting back again, streaming and videos in the fish hobby. You know, he took a little hiatus, working on his photography hobby, and he's really, to me, he's really done some excellent work.
Yes,
Um, a lot of them he shared on his Facebook and Instagram. And of course, his wife Liz is an awesome model.
yeah,
He said we had a great time. Daniel Keeping Fish says, I've had beardies. They're great. They'll like they're like wee lizard puppies, and they love to a snuggle.
yeah.
Uh,
I had a guy come in our store the other day. He had one hanging off this pouch he had on, and it just hung there. And then he laid it on the counter, and he fed it a couple of the super worms, and he went right at it, ate it, and then he went right back on and crawled right on the guy. And the guy just said that he just got back from the beach with him and had him running up and down the beach. I'd be afraid I'd lose it. It would keep running. I mean, it was really friendly. We were holding it and everything.
My daughter had one. Actually, it was her son's, but of course, she ended up being the caregiver for it.
Of course.
And she was always putting it over her heart. And he loved to snuggle right there. And but he was bad, you know, to bite sometimes.
Yes.
And she was feeding him some grub worms and or some kind of worms. I think they were grub worms. And I told her, I said, give me the tweezers. I'm going to hand feed him. And she goes, I'm not. She would just drop them in the pen.
Uh-huh.
And she was watching me hand feed him with the tweezers. And she goes, oh, that's interesting. I said, yes, as long as you know when to release, he's not going to get upset with you.
Right.
I think Scott might be a little confused here, but he says, congratulations on the store. I love Pets Plus. So you can straighten Scott out if he's got his information a little.
Sure. No, that's good.
Is it a Pets Plus?
Yes.
Okay. I'm the one that don't remember things.
We all get that. You know, once I hit 65, I forget everything now.
Whoopee. But
yeah.
He's really getting back into the scene, and I'm glad he is.
Yeah,
You all have a great group of people up there in the Northeast. I know you said you're close to Suzy Q. There's several in the Pennsylvania area. I believe Melvin Reef is in the Pittsburgh area, close to the college.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, Al.
6 hours away from me, Pittsburgh.
Okay. Hi, Al Wet Socks. Hi, Mama Susan and everyone. Welcome to the live stream. We've got about 7 minutes there. Is there anything else y'all want to ask Ed? Because, after 7 minutes, he's gone until you catch him on his channel or live stream. So.
Speaking of forgetting something,
yeah,
I just forgot that when I ran in the door because I was late getting home from work, a box of shrimp came that I had one on band the other night. So I have to start acclimating them when I get off of here.
All right.
I won 2 different options. So
if you have to go now, you can. I just want to tell you thank you so much for being my special guest. You know, you've really rescued me and gave yourself an opportunity to be before the community. And I'm glad that they got to meet you, and I'm glad that they can reach out to you. And, my way, people, we show love for love. And some people call them pineapples. Some people call them, I forget. There was a fish term. I forget we were calling them. Some people were calling the subscriptions, pineapples and bananas and all that stuff. So I always tell people in my live streams to show love for love. And
Yes.
he's got 66 subscribers right now. So Ed, you've picked up 10 subscribers while we've been live today.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And we want to try to get him up to 100 within this week. So y'all share out his channel. Tell everybody you met him today. And he's got videos up that you will find interesting. Some of, I think, the fiery reds in your tank behind you, shrimp.
Yes.
Oh, and there was something else let me look and see.
I have yellow shrimp too.
Yes, and those the rainbow fish.
They're the gobies, yeah.
And the new rainbow gobies, yes. So y'all need to go over there and check out his channel. And if you're local, you might be able to meet with him.
Definitely. I go everywhere, so
he doesn't do any shipping right now. It's hard to ship anyway because things are so unpredictable.
Yeah, they are.
But Daniel's Keeping Fish is he's leaving over on the other side of the pond. Oh, Scott corrected me and said he's got 71 subs now. So
that's great.
the numbers are going up already. But
yeah,
everybody, thank you so much. Thanks for the super chat, Scott, at King and Queen Cichlids. And all of my mods, thank you for your hard work on sharing those links. If anybody wants to reach Ed, he has a Gmail email right here, picknupcichlids@gmail.com. And of course, they're getting ready to do away with the discussion tab on YouTube channels, but right now he still has his discussion tab. So if y'all want to hit him up on his channel, you have to access the discussion tab on a laptop, tablet, or computer. You can't get it on a mobile. Our R&B Animals Rescue says, I just pineappled you, Ed. Thanks, RB. Thank you so much. But everybody, again, thank you for joining us this Thursday. I forget who's running after me. It might be Rika Stan. So, or no, Rocco and the Coast.
Susan,
but Ed,
thank you.
Thanks, Ed. I mean,
thank you so much for inviting me. It's been great. You're a wonderful person. I love you. It's awesome.
I appreciate you so much.
Live streaming. Now I'll get into it more.
And I'm like I told you the other day, I'm just so glad we reconnected. And it's a blessing to know you. So everybody, thank you again. This is Susan for SLC Aquatics and Ed picking up cichlids. Ed's picking up cichlids.
Thank you.
And y'all have a very blessed day. And remember, touching lives one fish at a time. This is #FishFam Mom. I love you. Next time.
Bye.